Hello and welcome to the Grand Tour Fans, the channel from fans for fans. My name is Fons van Hart and I'm your host. Welcome back to the second episode of the interview which Freddy Clode of the Home and Host podcast did with the Grand Tour executive producer Mr. Andy Wilman. In this part, Andy Wilman tells how he and Jeremy Clarkson changed Top Gear for a restart in 2002. It takes us to the years till March 2015 when the BBC decided not to continue their contract with Jeremy.
Yeah, so Top Gear, you got to be in the mid to late 90s. Shows, factual shows on the TV. You've got Ground Force coming and that makeover one with Carol Smiley, where people are doing up each other's houses.
Yeah.
They are the thing. They're the new thing. And none of the presenters in them are doing piece to camera. They're just chatting to each other.
Yeah.
And Top Gear's sitting there, old-fashioned as hell. One presenter does a 5-minute item, move on to another one. And it's looking as old as hell. And Jeremy's not on it anymore. Jane Root, a controller of BBC Two, took it off air. And we had just done, Jeremy and I had done a series called Speed, BBC One Science, about the science of speed. Wasn't a happy experience because we were in BBC One land. So everyone's got an opinion. And we were just... Our hearts weren't really in it, and we were not in a good environment. It was like a million miles from what we got back with Top Gear when we just pissed about on our own, under our own like regime and plans. Yeah. So that hadn't gone down that well. The chat show was dying, so we were like, "Oh fucking hell, what we're going to do?" And then Jane Root took Top Gear off air, and it was Jeremy who said, "Because where the guy is good, I've got my skills." But where he's good, he's the one with the light bulb moments. He's the one who goes, tell you what, let's smash that wall down and see what's on the other side of it. And then I'll go, all right, I'll find a good way of smashing that wall down or whatever. And he was like, let's go to the pub. Because Jane Root said, I'm not bringing Top Gear back until somebody gives me a good way of doing it. And he was like, let's have that show. So we went to the pub, and he already had, a good few ideas. He'd been thinking it through. And in that pub, we worked out broadly what that show was going to be.
But that was introducing the live studio audience as well, right?
That was the audience. That was guests. Jeremy had already thought of all these things.
Yeah.
Having a track, he'd thought of that. And... all the logic was pragmatic. He was like, if we have a news section, if you look at Top Gear at the minute, the old Top Gear, you have to, if you're going to mention the new Volkswagen Golf, because it's an important car, you have to do a 6-minute film on it in the current sort of format of Top Gear, the old one. And he goes, but it's not worth a film because the car is just very good. It costs this much, and if you want one, buy one. It doesn't make good TV. And this is what he'd worked out.
Sure.
So he's like, so if we have a news section, we can just cover off cars that aren't worth filming, and then we'll just film interesting cars. So he was like, he was on it with the journalism and the TV mind that he's got.
And also, did you think that the aspect of introducing a celebrity each episode, or some episodes?
Yeah, that was going to be a laugh. And he's like, they've got to do a lap time. And I was like, I say the more cautious one. I'm going, but what if they don't want to do a lap time? He goes, well, they don't come on. And I'm like, okay, right. So Jonathan Ross, who was probably like the biggest TV star at the time, I was going to say, if he doesn't want to do a lap time, he goes, well, he doesn't come on. Yeah. And I'm like, you're mental. It's never going to work.
But you've got to have, I suppose the inclusion of that celebrity thing not only added a separate asset to the overall show, but also if, I don't know, for example, somebody wasn't already a Top Gear viewer, which 99% of the country were, if they saw that they're the singer of the day or whatever, it was another means for them to tune in. Do you know what I mean? Did it not? It's quite a clever asset in that, like, people who may not watch every single episode see that Will Young's on and said they don't want to miss it.
Yeah,
and then they're hooked.
Lots of happy accidents that came together, I think, in the end, because I mean, we were. If you watch that first series, it's shit.
Yeah.
Because we were learning. We were completely out of our depth, but we learned, and it was good enough to sort of survive. But the audience was flat dead. We had 50 people.
Yeah.
We thought that was enough. It was fucking chronic.
And then, what was the BBC's reaction to that first series then?
Well, like I say, they were like, it got decent numbers. It got 2.5 million, 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, okay, so and it was like getting better.
Yep.
It was work in progress. But that's my point about the BBC. They go, all right, it's clearly getting better, so stick with it.
Yeah.
Whereas in America, they go, take that off air.
Yeah, of course.
After 3 weeks, it's not done what we want it to. So they were really good like that. The BBC are always good like that. And we learned quickly by our mistakes. We got the atmosphere going. We just got it better. And then another good thing that was important, which is an accident, but a good one, is it's put out on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock.
Prime viewing time, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you think what Sunday night was then, Sunday night was back then was miserable dramas.
Yeah.
Scottish Hebrides detective, all that kind of stuff, grim.
Sure.
So, and there we are with our kind of Friday night feel show. It's
exactly.
like TFI Friday with cars. Yeah. We're there on Sunday night. And people start to go, oh, that's a bit of a cheery thing. The kids watch that 9 o'clock's bed.
Exactly.
And it just cheers people up. So the kids start watching it.
It holds off the Monday blues for a tiny bit longer.
Holds off the Monday blues.
Yeah.
Kids start watching it, dads watch it, and then mums start to go, one thing mums love is their whole brood doing something together.
Of course.
So they're going, well, I'll watch it with you.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a family thing. And we start picking up on this, that so many kids are watching it. And the Stig, who was invented as a solution to a problem, becomes a great popular character.
And the problem was that you couldn't find a racing driver who had a good enough personality.
Who could speak, because a lot of them are complete planks.
Yeah.
And I'd done a kind of, it was like that bloody Minority Report board where I'd done, right, if Jeremy does that, and then we have 2 more presenters and they're doing X and Y.
Yeah.
So the racing driver has got to be doing X and Y. And I was going, there's nothing for them to do. And anyway, we can't find one that can speak. And again, Jeremy went, hang on a minute, why do they need to speak? And I was like, where are you going with that? And he went, he goes, I can do that slidey stuff with the cars, power slides and smoky tyres. He went, I can do that. Tiff had taught him all that kind of thing.
Sure.
Tiff Niddell. He goes, I can do that, but what I can't do is what racing drivers do, which is precise lap times, where they shave a tenth off everything. And he said, now what do we need out of that racing driver? We need the lap time of the car. So he goes, so we don't really need him to speak, so why don't we milk that and we'll have an anonymous driver that no one knows, and then people will be trying to work out who it is. But it was all because we couldn't find the driver.
And why the name the Stig?
Well, we wanted to call him the Gimp. So the first guy we got was this guy, Perry McCarthy, and he was like, fuck off. I'm not doing that if you call me a Gimp. Fuck you, fuck off. So we're like, all right. And then Stigs were what new boys were called at Repton.
Okay.
So we just did that. And that's what we did.
So
everything was like last minute.
So you have sort of 3 years after the first season, I should say, of incredible success. It starts to get more and more popular. Yeah. And, apparently the waiting list for a ticket to come to the show was 21 years.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of the same as waiting for a membership at Lord's. It's kind of insane.
I wouldn't know that.
No, but just a side reference there, Andy.
It was the same as Lord's.
Anyway, so everything seems to be going well, and you guys are quickly becoming the biggest factual show on TV. Obviously, do you go out through BBC America?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just want to take you back to the 20th of September to 2006.
Is that Richard's crash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you when that happened?
In the edit suite.
Really? Can you just take me back to that?
He'd come in, started the golden years as a team. So he'd come into the office, and like I say, everyone's throwing in what they want to do. It's getting big, but it's still loose, And Richard comes in, And we're like, well, we're just having a bit of a brainstorm for ideas for this series. And he went, I want to go really fucking fast, this series. And I was like, well, like what? And he went, like, really fucking fast. Like, I want to know.
I'm not finding anything for that.
This is my phone.
God, that is terrifying.
Hey series, what are the white line really fucking fast? Okay. Our phone's just joined the podcast.
I know, that is terrifying.
So where was I? Yep.
He wants to go fast.
Really fucking fast.
Yeah.
And like, so there's this jet car that can do 300 or so miles an hour. He went, yeah, that fucking fast. And he went, so I can talk about it. You know, Formula One cars are 220, but I want to go more than that. So we set the film up, and then he had the crash.
And there's no process pre the crash going in such a fast car where he has to, I don't know, qualify to be able to do so or not.
I can't remember what qualifying he did. I mean, there was a really good producer, Grant, on it, and he like did all the health and safety. So he got like the air ambulance booked.
Yeah.
He looked at Richard's crash helmet and went, nah, and went and got a Formula One approved crash helmet. Small things like that ultimately
showed his life.
Yeah.
So you weren't actually there when it happened?
No, because it was just another film.
Yeah.
So I'm down the edit, cutting films. Then I get a call going, Richard's crash, ringing the hospital. And it's one of those moments where they go, look, can't talk now. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm getting back and going, talk. And they're going, Andy, fuck off, we've got to deal with this.
Yeah.
And then, they ring back, go, he's speaking, it's okay. And you're like, oh, God for that.
Fuck, yeah.
Right, get back on with everything. And then they ring back, no, he's unconscious, the air ambulance is coming. So you're like, just jump in your car, go.
Yeah.
So I'm on the traffic on the M1. And I'm the guy at the hospital said, I can't tell you anything, but other than that he's in a critical condition. And I'm like, you are joking, it's like, you just don't want to hear those words.
No.
And he went, yeah, it's not good. And you think, we're pissing about 2 days ago, talking about going really fucking fast, and it's a 10-minute film for a car show. So the illogical elements, and you've got all these cars in front of you, and you're doing 48 miles an hour, and Mindy was driving up as well. And that guy at the hospital, he was a prick, actually, because he would just tell you enough he followed protocol.
Yeah.
But he told, when the press rang, he said, yeah, he's in a critical condition. But he doesn't tell us anymore.
No.
So his wife hears he's in a critical condition on the radio as she's driving up there.
So.
He was a twat, whoever that was.
Yeah.
And then we got up there, and he was lying there looking bad. And the doctor explained that you're in this critical period where you wait for his brain the swelling apparently around the base of the spine is what suffocates you, and that's what they feared.
Yeah.
Now I think in America they cut your skull away to let it swell, but that wasn't happening up there. But they were obviously very good. It was Leeds, and they knew what they were doing. And then we just had to wait and wait and wait. And totally out of our depth.
Yeah.
Because the most noise around us would have been Jeremy saying something stupid in the news about traffic wardens or something like that. Anybody who goes below 70 on the motorway, I'd have snipers on the bridges shooting them. Gets in the Daily Mail. That's the most fuss that's been sort of made.
Yeah.
And there we were dealing with that.
Thing is, I remember when the news broke, I didn't affiliate it with Top Gear for some reason. I thought it was like a separate challenge which he was undertaking in his personal life, as it were. Do you know what I mean?
How old were you?
I was 13.
13.
Yeah, maybe I wasn't properly consuming the press. But I just never really remember it being like a Top Gear issue, if that makes sense. I remembered it being a
Richard
Hammond issue.
Yeah, I mean, it was on the news a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Huge amount.
Huge.
Yeah.
I remember Martha, my daughter, she was 3 or something,
Right.
4.
A lot more with it than I was at 13.
No, she's more. She's 6. She's 6.
Right.
But Amanda had said to her, Daddy's gone up to see Richard because he's had a bump on the head, because Martha knew Richard. And she sort of walked into the living room and there was like TV screen, Martha standing, watching the news, going, "It's not a bump, is it?
No.
Promise me he'll be all right." And you've got to go, "Yeah, he will be." And she's going, "Yeah, but like 6-year-olds do." "No, but you promised me." And I don't fucking know. And then he was out of danger. And I remember I talked to Sid Watkins, who was the Formula One brain specialist and head injury guy.
Yeah.
And he really pacified me because he went, "Was he talking after the accident?" I was going, "Yeah." And he went, "He'll be all right then." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, he'll be all right." He went, "If he's not talking, there are plates that are sheared in the brain, and there's nothing you'll ever do about that." And he went, "But it's like a filing cabinet that's been tipped over,
right,
and everything's on the floor, and it'll take its own time to put it back together, So it was weird for us. And did it step the show up in terms of the public consciousness? Yeah, because when he came back, that first show was 9 million viewers or something. It was mental.
Yeah, and you guys chose to show some of the incident in the show, in the broadcast.
Yeah, we had. I remember BBC News were going, "We want that footage," and I was like, "And you can fuck off."
Yeah.
And they were like, so then they went to the head of television and said, "Get the footage off them," and I was like, "It sits in our safe. Fuck yourself." So, but the BBC sided with us. So first time it was shown was us.
So in a way,
it
would you
was powerful.
say? I mean, it's a hard question to word, but that the crash benefited the show in the long run.
Not in the long run.
In the short run.
Short run. Yeah, in a mercenary way, it did, because it added to the fact that those 3 really do the things they do.
Yeah, they put themselves on the line. They're not fakes. Yeah,
that's rare in TV.
Yeah,
people that they're putting themselves out there for a factual entertainment show to that level.
Yeah, no one's going to question the source of a campfire now, are they?
No, they are. So there's that element around them that they are. They always, part of their popularity was that they were always the bloke in the street who ended up on telly, but that added that layer. And what else? Yeah, is there a ghoulishness about watching the guy who survived? Maybe. But that, you can't live off that. You know,
of course
the viewing
not.
figures settle
of course,
to something.
Of course. But one thing which did really help was from the 12th series, the feature-length specials.
They were an accident as well.
How did those come about?
We went to Alabama, the Florida one, where we had the Alabama incident. We went to Florida to make another of our 25-minute shows, and we just came back. I started cutting it, and when I got to 50 minutes, I was like, "Oh fucking hell, this is all good." And then I got to thinking, why would we cut this stuff, throw this stuff away, so we can have a news section that week?
Of course.
Or have Rick Parfitt driving around in a car. Why are we going to do that?
Yeah.
Let's
use it.
Let's use it. So I said to Jeremy, "Have a look at this, but I think this runs all the way." And he went, yeah. So we put it out. We just built it as a special, and it went down really well.
Yeah.
And I mean, Alabama helped the petrol station bust up. And then it became a thing. Right, we're going to do one. So like I say, you've got TV moguls like Simon Cowell, and he's fucking good at sitting down and planning. But he plans a world domination. I mean, that's what he does, and he's very good at it. Ours was always a happy accident. So, the Stig, an accident. Specials, an accident, and so on and so on. But we were bright enough to know that when we were onto a good thing, we'd go with it.
But in the specials, you end up going from a TV producer to a film producer. In my view, really, in the sense that you're.
Whoa,
yeah. But I'm being honest. Like, if you went around any house in the mid 2000s, everyone would have an area of their bookcase dedicated to the DVD specials which came out, and they became Christmas gifts forevermore.
Yep.
And
unwatched.
I must say that for a casual Top Gear fan, they would massively interrupt the specials. People who didn't even watch Top Gear would watch the specials, because no longer were you following a narrative of a sort of car-based episode, but you're just watching a comedy and a thriller all intertwined into.
I know, and they did have a much broader appeal.
Yeah,
and people who don't want to wade through the news, or there were always those divisive elements on the main show where people go, the guest lot, car people didn't like it.
No.
They go, fuck that, I'll watch Graham Norton if I want to listen to a guest, and so on. Some people didn't want to watch the car test.
Yeah.
But we hit the sweet spot with those things. Because, sorry, just jumping in.
Yeah, go on.
Because they were the pure, undiluted essence of those three elements, that point I'm making about it going into the male brain.
Yeah.
You've got the self-deprecation. You've got the scenery, the backdrop and everything. You've got the banter.
Mm-hmm.
And another important factor is nothing really happens. We were surrounded at the time by shows. There was a whole fad at the time for shows called How To and 60-Minute Makeover and Improve Your... And shows would always start. BBC was full of people going, at the end of this show, you will know how to, sell your house, do up your house, cook, improve your accounts, and so on. And in our show, it was at the end of this hour, fuck all will have happened. You'll have had a break from life, basically. Not much, but 3 men will have driven 3 shit cars somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's as much as you're going to get. And that, taking a break from having to succeed, achieve, what have you, just being laid back in that way, celebrating failure.
Yeah.
It was such a tonic, I think, in the schedules.
Of course. Well, you see now that so many media outlets have copied that way of trying to let talented people on screen entertain an audience for an extended period of time without having to have too much structure.
Yeah.
That you've seen a huge loosening of planning, as you were saying earlier about Simon Cowell and all this stuff. All the shows are completely thought out, things like that. Whereas nowadays you see a lot more, I suppose it's reality TV in a way, but not really, structured and clever. Yeah. Obviously, those are huge financial successes, DVD sales, all the things, merchandise. And you guys own the rights to that, didn't you?
Yeah. We shared it with the BBC, which was quite an achievement.
Yeah, how did you negotiate that?
We were going to leave. It was quite simple.
Right, okay.
We were going to go, set up our own show.
Yeah, so about 2009, you were...
was it then? Yeah.
Well, yeah, 2009, you were threatening to leave with your dignity intact.
Threatening?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if threatening,
word.
but you did end up staying for another 5 years.
We were invited to leave.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody approached us and said, I'll set you up, I'll back you, and you make your own. It won't be called Top Gear, but you'll all get rich.
This is another media outlet.
Yeah. You will get rich, you'll own your show.
Do we know who they are or not?
So, I do.
Can I?
So, I don't know if he's ever got talked about. Let me have a think. So we went...
Was it ITV?
Nah. So we went... We said we're off, we're going. And then at that point, BBC fucking chronic at that sort of thing. They were like, we'll double your wages. And we're like, no, you don't understand. Yeah. We're going to own our own show.
Yeah.
So at that point, BBC Worldwide had to say... all right, we've got to make them a proper offer because they're selling this thing, they're making all the money. So they had to rewrite the deal where they cut us in.
Okay.
And that's how that came about. And that went on for till the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Till the end.
So you end up staying and doing 3 or 4 more years, and then 2014 seems to be, in my view, the catalyst to spark the flames which engulfed the end of your time on Top Gear.
Yeah.
The incidents in Argentina and Burma.
Well, they weren't a problem. All right, Burma was dumb.
Yeah.
Argentina wasn't a problem.
No.
I mean, it was a terrible time,
Yeah.
but it was one of the rare occasions where we weren't guilty of the crime we were accused of.
Of course.
But whereas, yeah, when we were rude about Mexico, that was dumb. That was our stupid, filter gone.
And even at that point, you don't have a BBC lawyer or someone look over content before it goes out. No.
You do.
You do. But they green-lighted everything. They were happy.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's one of the ironies that when we left the BBC, people used to come up to me and go, well, you can finally do what you want and say
Yeah.
what you want. And I'm like,
Well, you can't really.
fuck off. We've
Yeah.
been doing this for...
Yeah.
How do you think we got into so much trouble and
Of
caused
course.
so much
Yeah,
controversy? It was allowed.
Yeah.
You know, the BBC compliance team is the best in the world.
Yeah.
There is no question.
Yeah.
They let you go a long way,
Mm-hmm.
and their whole thing there, and they used to use us as an example to other shows who they were trying to get them to be more edgy. So they would say, look at the way they're doing it,
Yeah.
which is because the whole point is it's not getting a complaint doesn't matter.
No.
It's being able to defend yourself when you do.
Of course.
And that's the mantra at compliance.
Yeah.
The people who decide how far you can go. And we did that. We embraced
Yeah.
that. So they loved us in that sense, is that we were actually functioning properly. Whereas if you got shows that were going, we better not do that because we'll get complaints.
Mm-hmm.
The compliance lawyers were going, stop, you're supposed to get complaints, It's just, there's no harm in it.
No, you just got to be ready to
You
defend
just
yourself.
gotta be ready to defend
Yeah.
yourself, yeah. And so, so we would comply stuff. But in the main, then, and they would pass stuff, and then things would go wrong.
Do you think, though, because you guys were kind of, as you said in some interviews before, a bit more relaxed and losing maybe a bit of interest because you've done so many episodes, so many...
We weren't losing
footage.
interest, we were knackered.
Knackered, yeah. Sorry,
we were strung out on a
You were
wire.
strung out. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a better way to put it. But do you think that when things obviously came to a final blow, if you pardon the pun, with the was the name Oisin? What was the name? Oisin, sorry.
Yeah.
Oisin. Had there just been sort of a wave of tiredness, which there was only one way it was going to come to an end, and that was going to be something catastrophic like
Well,
that?
the perfect storm was brewing because there was a group of senior management who were absolutely culturally and politically and everything opposed to what we were about. So they would be very happy if we didn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a small group but powerful one. Like I say, all our guys, the BBC compliance team, we had a good relationship. A lot of BBC management, we had a good relationship. But the friction was building between us and them. We were series 22 or whatever, so you've got that pressure of you're starting to struggle for stories, you're creaking, and you're worn out, knackered, because making Top Gear and making Grand Tour is vicious in terms of the workload and the amount of stuff we shoot too much, we do too many things, they're too ambitious, but you still got to deliver on time, put it in a bottle. And all that was coming apart, and everyone was knackered with everybody else, so everyone got tetchy. And then something like Burma, we'd made a stupid mistake. Mexico, we'd made a stupid mistake, and we apologised about Mexico. And they were like dumb things where we'd shot ourselves in the foot, given everyone who was in opposition and ammunition. Then Argentina comes along, where there's this whole scandal that we deliberately made a number plate to wind up Argentinians. We didn't. I could waste 3 hours of tape explaining why that couldn't possibly happen, but we didn't. But at that moment, the BBC, that lot that hate us are like going, it's just another example of their behaviour,
Yeah.
you know. So it all builds. And then we got the guy in charge of the BBC, the TV, said, right, I want an investigation into their office, their practices, their working practices.
Well,
And I was like, on what grounds? And they were like, well, we don't think you look after your staff properly. We think, you know, it could be a hideous working climate in there. So I was like, okay, wankers, fill your boots. And I was very aggressive. And this guy came in and he interviewed everybody. And he gave us a glowing report because we actually are, at that time, we were a very dysfunctional family, but we are a family.
Yeah.
And that didn't please the powers that be, that we got this glowing report about actually our working culture and practices were fine. And it grew from there, and it grew from there. And then we get to the whole evening where the whole incident happened. And I'm saying incident because we can't talk anymore about it. And that was enough. That was enough for them to say, right, we're calling time on you.
How long had he worked for you?
Who?
Ocean.
Years. He was a good worker.
Right, okay.
He's a bright guy. Yeah, good worker.
Does he still work for Top Gear now? Do you know?
I don't know what he does now. No.
Fair
I don't know. I moved on. I left
Yeah, of
the
course.
BBC soon after.
Anyway, you have a worldwide audience of 350 million. So
Yes.
obviously, when you guys left, I can only imagine it was 3 or 4 seconds before all the phones were ringing. Not even 3 or 4 seconds, maybe half a millisecond
,
before your departure's announced in line with Jeremy's.
No, he left first. Well, he was sacked.
Yeah, sorry. In line with that, in terms of you
I
guys
left.
all left together.
I left shortly after.
Yeah.
The BBC tried to keep Richard and James.
Yeah.
Because it was like split them up.
Did you also learn a lot of this interview? I'll come back for episode 3, which will be online soon. If you subscribe to this channel and click on that notification bell, you get a message when the next episode is online. Thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye.